Hello and welcome to Carlos and Lisa. I'm Lisa Remillard.
And I'm Carlos Amesco. It's hard to believe that it's been 25 years since the car chase that sparked America's obsession with car chases. We're talking about the original big-time car chase, the OJ Simpson wild 2-hour-long car chase. It seems like yesterday. I can't believe it's been that many years.
I mean, I remember watching it on television as 95 million other people were watching as well at the time.
Middle of rush hour.
Right. At the time, OJ was, of course, America's most beloved, one of them at least, most beloved sports stars. Days before that chase, though, OJ's ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend, Ronald Goldman, had been found stabbed outside of Nicole's Brentwood home. Oh,
who can forget that scene? And then, you know, that he was a suspect and the police were looking for him. And that morning I was covering it live at KTLA, and we were talking about, you know, that he was going to appear, and the police had set up this elaborate news conference. All the cameras were there. And then they said,
"Where is he?
We haven't been able to locate Mr. Simpson. We don't know where he is." And we all went, "What? How do you not know where he is?"
And then
a couple hours passed, boom. He suddenly appears, we believe, inside of a Bronco, a white Ford Bronco. Now we know that Al Cowlings was driving one of his friends, and that somehow OJ was cowered in the back seat, hiding, which is the weirdest thing ever.
Well, I mean, I remember watching it.
Yeah.
I remember being at home, watching it like everybody else, and thinking to myself, how could this be? This is OJ Simpson.
No, it was surreal. It was surreal.
Like, how, why, what is going on? And how it was going so slow down the freeway, right? And like literally, it looked like the entire LAPD was behind him.
Not only that,
And
but then people started rushing the overpasses to watch and cheer him like OJ and all this kind of stuff.
I remember.
And as he made his way through the freeway, I was on my way out. Because I had done like 9 hours worth of coverage already,
right?
And so Hal Fishman took over,
right?
And that's about the time that this chase started.
Right.
And I remember driving down the freeway and encountering the chase coming towards me as I was going the opposite direction. Well, someone who was up in the air flying over this is photographer Chief Photographer Jeff Males from CBS. And you were up in the air, and tell me about the process of how you got to the helicopter and the decisions made. Nice to have you here.
Hi,
Thank you.
Jeff.
Thank you. Nice being here. So the afternoon, I started in the helicopter, and we thought, and everybody sort of speculated, that maybe OJ had gone to visit Nicole's gravesite down in South Orange County. So we headed the helicopter down towards the El Toro Y, and in the process of that, going over several different freeways looking for a white Bronco. We found a couple of white Broncos, but it wasn't till we got down near the El Toro Y that we heard over the scanner in the helicopter that the police were following the suspect 187 Bronco, which is the code for murder.
Right.
Yeah.
So we positioned ourselves over the Bronco, and I'm communicating with our control room back at the station. Hey, we've got the Bronco, we've got the Bronco. They're in a commercial break. Wow. So finally they punched the button. We locked in on the Bronco. We took it live for a few minutes on KCAL, and then all of a sudden CNN pushed their button and took our picture live for an hour and 27 minutes.
So you were, I mean, I saw the pictures of you. It's really incredible because in this day and age, you think helicopters and the camera that's already mounted, but then it wasn't that way. So it was incredible what you were doing to get that image.
Yeah, and it was a very cold, cool June evening, a lot of fog and moisture, and the door was wide open. I'm sitting on the floor with the camera on my shoulder, and then on my lap I had to alternate because it's very heavy.
Sure, it was old camera.
Yeah, with my feet on the skids and the wind blowing in my face and trying not to let the wind blow the headset off, you know, and there were a lot of elements hitting me while I'm listening to the radio and the pilots talking to the anchors, and there was a lot going on.
Sure.
Tell me about the emotion of the moment, because you're actually witnessing history, and this is part of what we do, obviously, as journalists. We witness history, but at the moment you were doing this, you're going, this is unbelievable. What's going on here? And is he really in there?
Yeah, well, we couldn't tell because we could see the silhouette of a driver, but we didn't know if that was OJ driving the Bronco or not. Come to find out, he's in the back, actually. But so we zeroed in on the Bronco, and all I kept thinking to myself was, you know, this feels like it's getting more and more important. Let's not mess this up.
Right.
You know, and so I had to really concentrate for that whole time until we finally got to the Rockingham estate.
And then all of a sudden, you know, 95 million people, I think, was the number of people actually watching in this country, and they're watching the picture
they're watching your video.
I'm really glad I didn't know that number at the time. You know,
right. I know, but then,
wow.
then surprisingly, so many people were watching it, and then it was almost like looky-loos coming out
Oh
to
yeah,
watch
oh yeah. Every
the
single
pursuit.
bridge that we flew over, more and more people, like Carlos was saying, they brought out banners. You know, they're listening to it on the radio live, and some are tuning in on TV. And then they're racing out to overpasses to greet OJ as he's coming through. It was
I remember
Bizarre,
hearing
right?
all the speculation that he was despondent that he had a gun, he was going to shoot himself, that he was in a really bad state, and Al Collins was just driving around to kind of calm him down, and all of that was going on. And as anchors, when we're trying to cover breaking news, we don't have a lot of facts. We have what's in front of us, and we're looking at it. And you realize, Jeff, that you're actually telling the story with your pictures. No matter what the anchors are saying, the reality is this is the story right here.
Exactly, and so we had to focus on staying on it because we never knew what was going to happen. This is live TV, right? You know, so we didn't know if he's going to drive off the road, where he's going to go next.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody was asking at that moment, where's he going?
Had you ever, I mean, in your career, I mean, you were in the news business for more than 30 years. Had you ever seen anything,
No.
I would imagine nothing like that?
I don't think we ever will,
No.
quite honestly. I mean, this truly was historical, and we'd done high-speed pursuits, but this was a slow speed. It was dramatic. There was information, like Carlos was saying, coming in, sporadically.
It's a celebrity, it's a sports icon.
It was everything,
Right.
Well, that comes on the heels also of this horrific murder
Right.
that that we had been
Yeah.
covering and trying to dissect every piece of the information that we had. He'd been denying. We hadn't seen him. We saw him get cuffed. We saw him get taken away from his house, and then of course there was all kinds of speculation as to what happened, who did what, and where. And we hadn't even gotten to the trial yet. I mean, the trial was crazy, way after the chase. But the events that led up to that car chase just kind of culminated several weeks of hysterical coverage. I mean, really,
That's correct.
there was
yeah.
so much going on.
Well, the other thing too was people were like, "There's no way OJ could have done this," and then all of a sudden the chase happens, and people go, "Hey, wait a minute, maybe we got something going on here." It changed some minds for people, I think.
Tell me a little bit now, looking back on that moment, on that place where you're hanging out, hanging out of the helicopter, shooting this thing. I mean, are there lessons learned that we carry to this day on how to cover car chases based on?
Well,
what you guys
I
did
think
that
so.
day?
I mean, most of the shots that we got that day were pretty wide. And the problem is with pursuits and chases now, like I said earlier, you don't know
never
what's going to
know.
happen. So you want to be ready to go off it at a moment's notice. If there's a bad collision, or God forbid somebody shoots themselves in the car, that's the kind of stuff we don't want to put on TV.
Right.
So we have to be careful.
Right.
Eyewitness to history. I
Yes.
mean, literally, that's
Really
what you
incredible.
do.
Exactly.
Yeah, through the lens of Jeff Mayles. Incredible. That those images are kind of emblazoned.
Yeah, I was going to say ingrained in my. I can see that
Yeah.
chase still to this
Yeah.
day. All
So
these
can
years.
I.
So,
Jeff Mayles, thanks so much for being here.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
Thanks for having
absolute
me.
honor to have you here.
All right.